All right, it's time now to welcome a man that is literally one of my favorite people that I've met here in Las Vegas. He may not be from Las Vegas, but he is sports here in Sin City. He's the only three-time winner of the PCL Executive of the Year. I know T-Mobile celebrated its 5th anniversary this past week, but in my opinion, he's sitting on the nicest sports venue in all of the city of Las Vegas, that beautiful Las Vegas Ballpark. And he is Donnie Baseball to me. I realize the nickname is already taken away, but I'm giving it to him. He is none other than my guy, Don Logan, the Las Vegas Aviators president and COO. How you doing, my man?
Doing well, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah. But hey, I have to ask you this. How are you and your family done through this whole pandemic thing? You good?
Doing well. We're very lucky. Obviously this has been a challenging year on a lot of fronts, but I think most importantly, those near and dear to you staying healthy. A couple of my nephews just recently have been diagnosed. They're okay. They're young, healthy guys. They live up in northern Nevada, but that's the first time it's touched our family, and that's a little scary. It proves how this thing's a lot bigger than any of us. So you need to respect it and sit back and hopefully figure out everything we can do to get rid of it. We need to put it in the rearview mirror.
Exactly. Put it in the rearview mirror and do some things like your background there. I mean, I said it off camera earlier, but goodness gracious, that is definitely Donnie Baseball type background there on the golf course. Besides baseball, golf, that's one of your other passions?
I'd say that's it right now. That bunker right there that's the third or the fifth hole at Shadow Creek, and I hit that bunker owns me. So it's become my background. I hit a tee-ball in there, can't reach that green and 2 out of that bunker. It's really tough for me, not for good players.
Not for good players. You know what? I got to ask you some baseball stuff, but the Masters just happened. How exciting was that? Did you enjoy it?
I did. I felt bad for Xander Schauffele. He just moved here. He just moved, bought a house up at the Ridges, joined Southern Highlands. He's become a Las Vegas resident. He's a San Diego State kid. I felt bad for him. He was putting speed on him, but I think it's great for golf internationally. What Matsuyama did, he was wobbling. Everybody was wobbling down the stretch there, and that golf course does that. So it was great. Great theater, great for that game. Great to see people at the Masters. Patrons. We call them fans. They call them patrons. It was great.
Yeah, and to actually have the Masters at the time that you're supposed to have the Masters this time of year.
Yeah, you knew 20 under wasn't going to – that when DJ shot 20 under 5 months ago, they absolutely weren't going to let that happen this time. And 10, it was half. They'll live with that number, but 20 wasn't going to happen again.
I got you. Now, we've talked about this, but, I mean, obviously COVID has taken its toll on everyone. But the Aviators, more than any, in my opinion, how excited are you to get back – May 6th, you guys will have your first game out that beautiful Las Vegas Ballpark, especially coming off winning the award for the best ballpark in the country after year one.
It is. And again, we're blessed with a fantastic facility that, the way the community responded to it, the way that everybody, our staff, the food and beverage folks, the security people, the parking people, the ushers. I mean, our whole crew really did an unbelievable job in 2019, setting the stage for years of success and again, fun at the ballpark. And, what happened last year, something that nobody could have predicted. Nobody could, really could understand it. And we, like everybody else, had to endure it, understand that it's bigger than we are. It's something that, there's no manual on how to deal with it. There's no way that's a lot of times something you thought was right back in March, you learned was wrong in May. It's tough. And for us, it was just be patient and our time's going to come and, it's here finally. And we couldn't be more excited. The place is it's in great shape. It's still brand new. We've got UNLV hosting Arizona State at our place night after tomorrow, Tuesday night. That'll be the first time we've fired up since May 8th of last year when the Cubs played the Reds. So it's been over a year since we hosted a game, and got to make sure that the lights still work and everything's still functional. So we're looking forward to that too.
I wonder about this. As a guy who just bought his first house like this past year, every time I walk in, I look at it, I'm like, man, I love this thing. Do you still kind of have that feeling every time you go to the ballpark after so many
Oh
years of
yeah,
wanting one?
you do. I think that we worked so hard, and and it for me it was a long stretch.
Yeah.
Everything about Cashman Field was great. I learned so much there. I met so many great people in this community from around the world of baseball. It was, yeah, we went down. My wife and I went and got vaccinated there
Oh, wow.
last month, and I went first thing in the morning. It was the deja vu driving down the 95 at 8 o'clock in the morning again. Something I've done more than anybody. I think Jim Rogers maybe.
Yeah.
The Kuhn brothers go to Anderson Dairy, but they come from different routes. So I don't think anybody's gone down that street as much or that road as much as me.
Pretty surreal, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
So how difficult has it been being creative? Like hosting the different Major League Baseball players out there. Having their batting practice with the pitchers and whatnot. You guys had some movies and stuff out there. Just really just putting your thinking caps on to kind of keep the park active over the past year.
Well, we did whatever we could. That was really difficult with for the most part, it was 50 people or less. No more than 50 people were allowed there. Wow. And you can't do much, and it's what we and everybody else were obligated to do to try to eradicate the spread of COVID. So, 50 people, we had movie nights, we did tours, we did a lot of batting practice, we did a lot of showcases. We actually tried to help the young players in town. We did a lot of showcase events where scouts came in. We did it in tranches where we'd get 30 kids at a time out on the field and get 15 or 20 coaches, scouts in the stand with a few coaches, and spend really the whole weekend trying to expose local players, high school age players, to professional scouts because they weren't able to play either. I mean, everybody was affected. So anybody that's trying to feel sorry for themselves in this isn't seeing the big picture. We all had something to do, and that's kind of how we looked at it. So we tried to do things that would help give back. We did a lot of blood drives. We felt that was really important. We offered the facility as a vaccination site. That never came to pass, but it certainly was out there. It was a polling station. Wow. For the election. We did anything we can do. It is Las Vegas's ballpark, so it's there for all the citizens of Southern Nevada, and that's part of the whole concept of why it's there and why it was built. And it's our obligation to make sure everybody gets a chance to use it whenever they can, not just for baseball. Obviously, it is a baseball first facility, but we've got a lot of other things. We haven't even scratched the surface of some of the other events we're going to do. It's going to be a great concert venue. It's going to be a place that, in the off season, we can do some really fun things that work in other markets, Oktoberfest events, holiday events. We're looking at converting the whole field into a winter wonderland and running an event between Thanksgiving and the New Year that's called Enchant, that you can ice skate around and different food and beverage opportunities. It's going to be a wonderful place for a lot of different things. But again, baseball first.
Baseball first. I got you. You mentioned the fact that UNLV and Arizona State will be there this week. I can't wait to get out there and work. And with that being said, obviously Bryson Stott playing for the Phillies from Las Vegas, played at UNLV. I talk with a lot of guys from different sports about maybe this is a basketball town, or maybe a couple of football guys come from here. But would you say that Las Vegas is definitely a baseball city?
I mean, it's the proof's in the numbers. You can't dispute it. The influence that the kids from Vegas have had, not only right now, some of you've got Chris Bryant, and Joey Gallo, and Bryce Harper. So many. You mentioned Bryson. I think there's 80 some kids from Southern Nevada that are from the greater Las Vegas area or went to UNLV or CSN that are active in professional baseball right now. They're not even close for any of the other sports. And, I don't make a big deal out of it, but when anybody asks, this is a baseball town. It always has been. And, You go back, Mike Morgan went from Valley High School to starting for the Oakland A's. There's just things, but the Running Rebels were great from a basketball perspective and the way it woke up the community. But all the while, we still had dozens of kids playing pro baseball. A lot of guys doing very well. Greg Maddox, we've produced a Hall of Famer. There's more to come. It's a great baseball town, and that's so many people through the years, coaches and people that took an interest in promoting the game had a big hand in that. And I think the local leaders, that you have to have fields, you have to have access to facilities to play, and that's one of the things Las Vegas has done. And I think we're kind of the culmination of that. The first class facility that Las Vegas Ballpark it's obviously the best facility that's ever been built in Southern Nevada. I think the next facility that's built in Southern Nevada is probably going to be for our major league franchise, and I think that's not too far down the road. It's not a matter of if, it's just when.
Wow, really?
Oh, I think so. The success that the Knights have had, and that the Raiders, they had obviously selling the place, and how beautiful the two venues are, and that the Raiders are going to be it's going to be must see action down there, and it's going to be great because that's going to bring so many people to town. Just another reason to come to Vegas. It's going to help really accelerate the recovery of the market, I believe, in terms of getting tourists back here. And I think that's a big thing that sports can do. And I think, we're going to do it this summer, certainly, just getting people acclimated to going back out to events and doing it, the new norms that we have. We're going to figure it out. But, Major League Baseball they're not tone deaf. They see what's going on here, and it's a great market.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now, let's see, you've been in baseball for 38 years. So you started when you were 10, I'm assuming. You got
not exactly.
You got the
Padres.
What's that?
If you could feel my back, you'd know it's not 10.
If you're trying to reach the green in 2.
Oh, those days are over too. It's sad. Age doesn't spare anybody, but I still get around up there. I'm no slouch.
No, I got you. So let's see, you got the Padres, the Dodgers, Blue Jays, Mets, and Athletics as far as the affiliates that you guys have had here in Las Vegas. How nice is the fact that you guys now have the Athletics? I mean, the Dodgers were great because they're so close. The Padres as well, being they're in San Diego, but having the Athletics, which are in Oakland, having them so close, they can send guys back and forth without being a huge deal.
Well, having a West Coast affiliate after 10 years of Toronto, New York, that's just tough. It's tough to market that. There's not a lot of fans, particularly, no disrespect, but there's not a lot of Blue Jay fans anywhere but Toronto or but Canada. So having them was difficult. We had good teams, even with the Mets. If you look at the funny thing about the Mets, we had Wally Backman managing, one of the best managers we've ever had, one of the best baseball people we ever had. But the rotation, the first year with the Mets, Rafael Montero was the number one starter. He's now the closer for the Mariners. Jacob deGrom was number 2. He's two-time Cy Young Award winner. He's the Mets ace. Noah Syndergaard was the number 3 guy. And Steven Matz was the number 4 guy. Logan Verrett was the 5th. He's still banging around. Urish Familia was the closer. He's the closer for the Mets. I mean, we had an unbelievable squad with the Mets, and people that think you can't develop pitching in the Pacific Coast League or in the desert were wrong, because all those guys have gone on to do really great things. So it's been fun every step of the way. I mean, again, having the A's, having a West Coast affiliate, having a friend in Billy Bean running the organization. For me, it makes it a little bit easier. There's no ambiguity about where we stand, where he stands. We work really well together. I think, there's obviously the A's are a great organization to be affiliated with because they have to draft and develop players. They've chosen that path. As opposed to like the Dodgers or the Yankees, they can go out and spend whatever. That the A's don't operate that way. So you're always going to have good young talent coming through the system, and that benefits the caliber and the quality of baseball that you're going to see out here with the home team. And I believe, I think you're more competitive, you win more. It's better for the game. It's better for the market. It's better for everybody. So we're in a good spot with the A's.
I could not agree more. I went to A's games as a kid. So, no, I could not agree more. Now, a few to kind of get you out of here. One, the fact that clearly you were an affiliate with the Dodgers. So how nice was it for you, even though, that you're an affiliate with the A's now, American League team, but throw that aside. How nice was it to see them win the World Series this past season?
It was the only thing about that it was unfortunate that Tommy didn't get to see. Tommy was the man. He managed the club in 1989. I was there in Oakland the last time they won, when Hershiser had an unbelievable season, but an unbelievable postseason.
Yeah.
Oral's a local resident now. I grew up as a Giant fan, so the Dodgers have any success is something that watching the futility was kind of fun, except when we were affiliated. But as I got to know people down there, there's some people that have been with them for years. I think obviously Tommy was a big part of that, but Ellen Harrigan, she's Andrew Friedman's assistant now. She's been the lead assistant on the baseball ops side for 30 years. And some of the people that have, that's what this becomes. You kind of forget about the brand or who you're a fan of, and you become close with the people and you really feel good for them. Dave Roberts is a great guy. Dave is, he's a wine guy. He and Richie Aurelia have, it's called Stitch. They got a wine label that they put together, and Dave's a friend. It's good seeing that. Rick Honeycutt was the pitching coach there for a long time.
Yeah.
He retired. His back was bad from too much golf, but Honey was instrumental in helping develop that staff. A lot of those guys, I know Clayton thinks the world of Rick, and so seeing them finally win after knocking on the door for so long was good. Justin Turner's a great dude. He's a fun guy, and I'm happy for the people.
I gotcha. I had a chance to actually cover Mookie Betts when I worked in Boston and got to know him a little bit, and he was a good guy as well. So it was nice to see him come here and do well. You kind of alluded to it, but I was going to ask you about Tommy Lasorda, obviously the legendary manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He passed away, and obviously you had some dealings with Tommy Lasorda, have a great relationship with him going years back. I was going to ask just how sad it was, the fact that he didn't get a chance to see that World Series, but just his passing and what it meant to baseball, let alone just the Dodgers.
Well, no, Tommy was, he's always been a part of a Dodger lore, but great guy. He came here a lot of times, both when we were affiliated and when we weren't, spoke to different groups for us. I've had a lot of meals, a lot of late meals. That's one of Tommy's, that's a baseball MO. Games don't get over till 10, 11 o'clock, and then you go out to dinner after that. It's not very healthy, which is why some of us look like I do. But Tommy took it to a new level. I mean, he had juice everywhere. He could keep a restaurant open. That was pre-cell phones, but he'd start calling, and they'd keep a whole staff on duty to Tommy to roll in and then let somebody else pay the tab, because he had short arms and deep pockets, man. Tommy used his juice to get you in, but he wasn't doing any of the token or any of the paying, which was classic. We all gladly did it, because the stories, the love of our game, no better ambassador ever, I think, that baseball has had, and certainly the Dodgers were the primary beneficiary of that. But Tommy was so special.
That's good to hear. I love that. Short arms and deep pockets. I love that. Well, Donnie Baseball, as I'm calling you from now on, that's your new nickname. Don Logan, I really appreciate you coming on and talking with me. It's always, as I said, genuinely, always good to see you. I look forward to seeing you out there on Tuesday for the UNLV baseball game. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Take care of yourself.
All right, buddy.